What's up guys, my name is Ace, and welcome back to Maps Exposed, the series where I cover all the lines of sight, wall runs, as well as any other secret spots that I know of on every map in Black Ops 3. In today's episode, we're going to be covering the map Hunted. Let's get into it. Alright guys, so Hunted is a map that I'm actually very excited to do for this series because there's a ton of really amazing lines of sight on this map. First off, let's get a nice line of sight onto the people that love to camp up in that window, assuming they've got you kind of spawn trap back here, or if you're just coming off spawn here and you want to see if someone's there and maybe pick off a kill, just jump on top of this piece right here, and as you kind of strafe over this way, you can see about half the window there, and you can easily pick them off through there, especially if you have a sniper rifle or something like that. So this is a really good spot. They never expect you all the way back here, and it's highly unlikely they're ever going to see you. It also works if you just come up behind this truck here and you just stand on the ground. You can see that lower corner of the window. Now keep in mind, it is just the lower corner of the window, so if they're standing up and you have like a locust, all you're going to be able to do is shoot their feet, which isn't very useful. But if you have like an LMG or something, you can easily pick their feet off through there. Now this next line of sight is going to be for the guys that are capturing the B flag. As long as they're capturing on the right hand side of the B flag, as I'm looking at it right now, you can get a line of sight on them. You can't see them if they're capturing over in this area, which is where I recommend capping from anyways. But just in case they're being careless and let's say you die and you're coming off of spawn at the A spawn back here, I like to quickly just jump on top of this truck, have a look. You can easily see like most of the capture area of that flag. You can see a little bit more than half of the capture area, and you might be able to pick those guys off if they're being careless and capturing somewhere over there. If not, then you'll just have to push up and try and challenge those guys that are capturing on the left hand side. Now another thing that can be also really useful back here is if you're getting spawn trap back here, which actually does happen fairly often in several different game modes. You'll have enemies maybe in this building here, you'll have enemies set up there, and then you'll have other enemies over there getting you locked down into your spawn back here. A great way to challenge people that are in that door is to simply jump on top of this little signpost here, and you can kind of strafe over. There you go. Great line of sight towards that doorway. If you strafe over, don't want to fall off, but strafe over this way, great line of sight over to that piece of cover there. You can crouch, take cover. You can see over top of this truck over to that open area. You can see the hood of that blue truck, which people try to head glitch over. So it's just a great way if you're getting spawn trapped. I wouldn't recommend simply camping up there and waiting to take an enemy off guard, but if you are being spawn trapped, it is a very effective spot. Now, for those of you that have fought over the B flag area here, you'll know that that truck there is a great head glitch. All you're going to see is your enemy's head if they're using that cover properly, and they have the advantage against anybody that's standing right where I'm standing right now. So the best way to challenge them is to head glitch back and come back behind this sign. This is now a much better gunfight for you. You have the advantage here because just by strafing a little to the left or right, you can open up more or less cover. You have more room to maneuver than they do, and you can easily pick them off there if you have a high accuracy assault rifle or a sniper rifle or an LMG or something like that. So next up, pretty much everybody knows that you can wall run here and get to the other side there. It works great going both ways. It's an awesome way to get on your enemy's flank, but a lot of people didn't know about wall running on the other side of the bridge. So for this one, you just drop down. There you go. You don't have to worry about those little support beams there. They won't actually knock you off that wall run, and you can easily wall run around there. Honestly, it's not like the most versatile spot that you're going to be using every single game, but it's handy to know that it is there. Now, right by the A flag, if you have enemies that are coming from the caves there, a lot of people don't know that this is just the perfect height right here to head glitch. So it's a great way to defend the A flag area if they are flanking you through that cave area. Most people I see just sit like at the stairs here, and that's just dumb when you have this perfect cover right here. Keep in mind they can shoot through this cover, but you still have the advantage in this situation. Now, coming from the other direction, if you have enemies that are trapping you into your spawn over at the A spawns there, and they're maybe sitting here, or they're just camping in this room here, and they're trying to lock this down like right here, or wherever they are, they're standing right in that doorway, which does happen fairly often. A great way to counter them as you come out of spawn, instead of trying to challenge them in the expected spots, jump up on this rock right here, and strafe up. There you go. Great line of sight towards the doorway. You'll also get a line of sight on them if they're using that as cover. You'll be able to see their head and shoulders there. And they don't typically look this far back because it's just your head basically exposed here. So it's a great way to pick those guys off if they're trying to pin you in your spawn. Now right over here is just a really common situation where it's this piece of cover versus that piece of cover. So you have an enemy over there and you come right up here. This is a completely fair gunfight, and I don't like fair gunfights. I like to stack the odds in my favor. So instead, if you back off over here and just slowly edge your way over, you can expose as much of yourself as you want to them. You're stood back a little bit more as well, so it's harder for them to see you. Plus, you can crouch to take cover completely, stand up, there they are, pick them off, crouch again. It's a great way to challenge those guys that are there, and now you stack the odds in your favor here. Now this next line of sight is pretty amazing for defending the B flag if you're coming from this side of the map over here and you're trying to defend the B flag here. You can first off just use this truck for great cover. You have the advantage against anybody that's trying to capture that B flag, so it's just an easy kill. But even better, just lay down and strafe over a little bit, kind of back off a little. Look at this. Great line of sight towards the B flag. Also a great line of sight to anybody that might push up to this piece of cover right here. And they're going to have almost no idea you're there. It's pretty difficult to tell when someone is there. Obviously, if they're really paying attention, they will see you there and they will be able to take you out. But most people aren't really paying that much attention to be checking underneath the truck. Now, another line of sight that I was a little hesitant to show you guys because it might seem a little unfair, but I'm going to anyways because I hate people that just camp in windows all game, and it's a great way to counter those snipers that are camping in the windows. Come back right here. See this little crack here above the tire? That's the window right there, and you can shoot right through this crack without losing any bullet damage. You're not going to hit the truck at all. You can easily pick off the snipers in that window. This is a ridiculous line of sight, and like I said, I wasn't going to show it to you, but since it's just to counter somebody that's camping, I think it's an okay thing to show. Now getting back here, just in case you weren't aware, most people are, there's a little wall run spot back here to get onto the enemy's flank back here. This is especially useful if it's in safeguard and you've almost got your robot escorted towards the spot, which is right here, and all your enemies are camping back in this area trying to hold it off. Great wall run spot to get you around there in that situation. Now assuming that same situation, but you're on defense here and you're trying to stop that robot, and everybody always crowds in towards that door and they're coming up that stairway there. A lot of people will just simply sit back here and try and challenge him with no cover whatsoever. Much better place to do this is right on top of this chair. Look at that line of sight you get into that doorway. This is amazing. They're not going to see you here. It's a very good way to pick them off. And this is a very situation dependent thing. So again, please don't just camp here all game aiming at this window or at this door here. This is a very situation dependent thing. So in safeguard, especially when they're escorting that robot through there, this is a great line of sight. Also, if you peek your way over this way, you can get a line of sight over towards where the stairs are. So that a lot of times they'll come up those stairs and they'll try and camp that. So you can pick them off through there, or you can pick them off through here. Very, very good spot. One other little thing, as you're attacking towards the people that are defending up here, a lot of times people will just run up the stairs. That's exactly what they expect. Just wanted to point out that you can very easily just jump around like this, and they never expect it. They very, very rarely expect it. Most guys are looking right here. You'll pop up over here and just shoot them in the side with no problem. Now, getting inside this building here, there wasn't really too much to mention aside from the fact that you can like toss stuns and nades through here to attack those people that are over there. Pretty obvious. It also works the other way, obviously. If you have people in this room, you can toss your stuns and nades through that window there. One thing I did want to point out here, which can be very helpful, notice how still the water is right now. When a person jumps in or comes out of the water, either direction, look how much it disturbs the water. So it's just a little awareness thing, whereas if you see the water is really ripply, that means somebody has recently passed through this water in one direction or the other, and it can just be a great way to know if maybe like somebody snuck past you here, jumped in the water, and maybe you heard him maybe jump in the water, you're not too sure, you want to check. If it's ripply, that means he definitely went into that water there. Or if it can work the other way as well. If he comes out of the water, it will create those ripples. Now, right in here is a hardpoint location, and one of the most common spots that people will sit when this hardpoint is active is right in this corner here. One thing they don't realize, though, is this is just glass, and you can very easily shoot through it. So in order to kill those people, you'll probably want to be cutting off your line of sight towards those guys as much as possible. So you want to jump on this rock. Just shoot right around this area right here. That is going to be that corner. So there's this one post. Shoot kind of at the post and a little to the left of the post. That is where you're going to get the kill against the guy that's right in this corner. Now over here, I just have a great check spot that is also a wall run spot at the same time that can be pretty useful in some situations. Basically just jump up as high as you possibly can on this wall and watch what I can see. I can have a look over towards that entire side of the map as I'm wall running around here like that. Very, very useful in some very specific situations. Obviously, you're going to be pretty exposed up there, but it is kind of cool that you get that line of sight as you're going around. Now, this next spot is also very situation dependent, but you can jump up on top of this fence. Just try not to mantle over or else you will end up dying there. And you can get a line of sight through here, which you don't really see too much looking through this part, but you can crouch and peek out this way. This is great if they're trying to spawn trap you and they're getting control of that head glitch. It's a great way to counter that head glitch because you don't have too much cover challenging them from like here or anywhere else. So it's just a very good situation dependent spot to defend that head glitch from. Now also, if somebody's posted up on this head glitch like this and they're waiting for you to come around this corner, I just have a great check spot just to see if they're there. Basically, you just, oh, sorry, missed it. There we go. You just jump up like that right at this point here, and you can see through that chain link fence, you'll be able to see if anybody is standing behind that head glitch before coming around the corner. This basically just prepares you for what you might be getting into. This also works on a wall run if you can time it right, but that one's a little bit difficult because the timing has to be flawless. Now, a lot of times you'll end up getting spawn trapped kind of back here, and your enemies are going to be up on the stairs. Now, you do have great cover to challenge them this way, and there's nothing wrong with this at all. I just wanted to also point out you can lay down and look underneath this truck to get a line of sight on the people on that balcony. So this is something that can be used, but honestly, this is just as good. Now, when you're coming around this corner and you are expecting enemies to be like on this piece of cover right here or just somewhere over here, most people will just come right up to this piece of cover, and that's kind of a fair gunfight, and if they're pre-aiming you, you're going to be dead in this situation. So instead, I like to be a little bit more cautious if I really think someone's going to be there, and I use this little crack between the trash can and the wall. There you go. Great piece of cover there. All they can see is through this little tiny piece here. That's all they'll be able to see of you, and you can see their whole head and shoulders here. You can easily shoot through this. It's not like an invisible barrier or anything, and you can pick them off that piece of cover. So by just taking that extra second coming around this corner to check that, it could save your life in a lot of situations. Next up is just a little line of sight that I wanted to mention that some people might not know about and could be useful for getting a few kills on the people that camp on the top of that stairs, and that is just right back here. They don't usually look this far back, and if they do, you can crouch, stand up, you have a great line of sight towards the people that like to camp the top of those stairs. Now, one thing that I wanted to mention for demolition is right here, there is a bomb site right over in that area there, and this is just a great way to defend that bomb site. There's also a bomb site here, so this one's usually after this bomb site is destroyed. Otherwise, you're kind of standing out in the open right where the enemies expect you to be. But once that bomb site's destroyed and you're focusing on the other one, usually all the enemies are focused in that direction, so they won't be paying attention to somebody standing out in the open here, but you are exposed, so just be aware of that. But it's just a great way to get an angle on that bomb site. Maybe you have the bomb planted over there, and you think they're going for the defuse, you died over here, and you're coming from this way, and none of your teammates are over there, and you just want to get that kill on him real quick, hop up on the truck, get that kill on him as he's trying to defuse that bomb, and then you can move on from there. So that's going to wrap it up for today's episode of Maps Exposed. Let me know in the comments section below which one of the maps you'd like me to cover next. If you enjoyed the video, a like rating is always appreciated, and don't forget to subscribe for more if you haven't already. I'll talk to you guys next time.